How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go and do a mission on Tamir, Drowned Lands. I'm going to go and do the cycle of cargo. Nothing too special. I'm going to go down to that factory and grab concrete slabs, and then take it over to the farm. The reason why I'm kind of attempting it again, I did it the other week, I suppose, by now, but yeah, I got a Taiga that far and just decided it was doing my head in. It was too slow through the mud. It was just going 5 miles an hour. Well, not even that actually, that would have been nice. About 1 mile an hour. And yeah, I just gave up with it in the end, so I figured I'd bring one of the mods along, something with a little bit more oomph to it. And yeah, we'll give it another go. So for this one I got, is this called like the IX Mini Monster 0.65 something or other. Just yeah, Mini Monster will do. Well, another good nickname for it that it seems to have got is the Apache Killer, which yeah, certainly a pretty apt name. The Apache is pretty pretty weak and vanilla as far as things go. It certainly spices the kind of six-wheel truck setup up a bit. And yeah, as far as mods go, there's quite a few things on it. It's not crazy amounts, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's got sort of all the bits and bobs you'd need. Yeah, pretty decently sized tyres. I think they're actually only about 41 inch or something, but they look bigger than you'd think on this, like, unless this truck is just smaller than it looks, but whatever. Yeah, it's got pretty decent engine to it. It's got an OP winch, thankfully, because of stuff like this. I went flying down there. This thing tipping over isn't really much of an issue, but it was more the trailer that got me then. Once that goes, it just kind of flicked all its momentum to the side and, yeah, took me with it. Again, even though I certainly prefer this trailer to the ramped flatbed, it's the same kind of issue when you're towing these, because it's got the dolly axle and the way it's attached to the back of your truck. Yeah, it can just flop around left and right a lot more. The axle can kind of tuck itself under its own sideboard bed or whatever, so yeah, the end result, it's a lot easier to flip you over. And I could have put a, what do you call it, a saddle low or whatever on this truck, but I only need to grab one set of concrete slab, so I only need 2 slots. Goddamn horse of a vehicle. Have to pluck him out of there later. I think that's the mission, what's it called? Saving country bread. Always a worthy mission. Yeah, one thing I will say about this truck that you definitely notice after a while, you probably, if you can hear it already, is just like the whistling, the whine of the, like, whether it's I'd assume it might be a turbo. Yeah, it's kind of, when you first drive the truck, it's like, oh, it's a nice sound. After a while, when you're doing this kind of mission where you spend a fair amount of the time just squeezing the throttle flat out, yeah, just after a while it's like just endless whistling going on. It's one of the few times I sort of turn the TV down a bit. But again, this kind of mission, to be honest, I kind of noticed from driving along here the other week with the, what do you bloody call it, the Taiga, and now this thing. Yeah, this map in general, a lot of the areas are kind of dialed up on the super mud kind of situation, and it doesn't really seem to matter how much power, etc. you've got. I mean, this has definitely got a hell of a lot more power, especially the Taiga that I took. It's relatively stock. I've probably got like different tyres on it, but I don't even know if I've got the raised suspension. I've definitely not got the top engine, because I think that's on Zimnegorsk, and I've not even unlocked Quarry yet. Yeah, but there was certain areas where this and the Taiga both just reverted to like a couple of mile an hour, and there's not really a whole lot you can do about it. It's also got the quasi true joules or something on it, which in the stats is like OP, and every terrain was excellent, so again, it's as good as you're going to get, really. And yeah, for the most part, it was ticking along just fine. All this sort of first section, it was nice, but yeah, just around where I abandoned the Taiga, to be honest, which we'll be coming up to shortly, yeah, it just kind of holds you back. It's like a default setting that they've done. I'm sure a truck like the Monstrosity, that'll no doubt plough through there, because that's just got such insanely massive tyres that, yeah, it almost makes the terrain obsolete, which is good every now and then when you, yeah, you're sick and tired of the terrain. What I do like about this though, and what I like about mods in general, you'll probably hear it more now, like I'm actually feathering the throttle a bit, which is It's at least a bit more entertaining than just permanently squeezing the throttle. Again, like I say, when I brought the Taiga through here, especially that it's not fully upgraded and all the rest of it, you just stick it in high or auto and then, yeah, squeeze the throttle and that's it. You're just kind of ticking along. It's sort of slow enough that it's not really dangerous, but yeah, it's not really fast enough that it's keeping you that entertained. At least with this thing, a lot of throttle feathering, steering into it, all that. You kind of, yeah, risking it a little bit. I mean, it can obviously all go wrong and you'll flip. There's a goddamn horse of a vehicle that I had with me when I took the Taiga. And then I finally, because it was so painfully slow, I was like, sod it. I'm nicking all the repair points and that off the loaf. And we'll leave him there. Again, he's goddamn professional. He can handle himself. To be honest, I could have stuck a winch on him, brought him along now, but I was like, nah. We'll let him chill. See, places like that where it just suddenly stops you, and yeah, like I say, engine power and grip certainly shouldn't be an issue. I do think though this truck is a little bit light for what it is, but again, it probably is smaller than it looks. It's definitely not what she said. Yeah, like it's the fact that they call this the mini wrecker or the mini monster, but the normal wrecker, the one I've reviewed as well, not the heavy one, is, I mean, it's four-wheeled, but yeah, it must be bigger than this, and not only that, it's got like much bigger monster truck tyres and all sorts. I think as well though, this would have benefited if I'd put one of the weighted front bumpers on it. That probably would have helped. I think you'll see sort of now, yeah, it starts to, like, when you put the power in, forget that little bump, but now it will show it pretty well. It understeers quite a bit because as you accelerate, it sort of pulls against that trailer and naturally makes it want to wheelie. So yeah, I think a weighted front bumper would certainly improve that situation. But so far, getting here wasn't too much of a problem. I actually did this mission before this, and this is why I was in a bit more of a rush now driving this mini monster. I did it with the M181 like Super Bruce. Yeah, I got to here, I put the cement in, and then I had some kind of bug, got blue screen, kicked out of the game. And to be honest, it wasn't that I wasn't enjoying the M181 Super Bruce. It was extremely good at, well, I was going to say flying across the map. That was the point, because it's in like the special, advanced special kind of gearbox range. It just wasn't that fast. Like, this thing was just quicker, and yeah, by the time it kicked me out the game back to the main menu anyway, I was like, sod it, I'll just turn this mod on and yeah, take that with me. So that's how far I got with the Taiga when I finally decided, hell no to that. Even now, that's faster than I was going. And yeah, I already knew where I had to go from here. Again, you can see with this, it's even, I wouldn't say struggling, it's not like it was getting stuck and it's close, but it's just, yeah, the map just drops you down to that slower speed. Again, I am in low range at the minute, so. But I did give it a go. Whether you go in auto or high, it was just, yeah, either wheel spinning or not really having it. Thankfully, we've got the side boy, so if I had the ramped flatbed then, the trailer tipped enough to where it unpacked the cargo, yeah, anything like not with the sideboard on it would have easily lost that cargo then, so I kind of got a bit of an extra life, an extra chance for that, because I don't think I had a crane on the Taiga either, so if that had fell off then I'd just have to go back to the garage, bring something else along with a crane. The usual. And yeah, I certainly think the Taiga wouldn't have got any faster along here. It might have got faster near the end when we get nearer to the farm, but not for a little while yet. Oh, another nice thing with this as well, we've got the repair points in the back, and this has an ATV, I don't know, like an ATV bed or whatever. There's a ramp that pops out the back. I think there is just about, well, easily, I'd make it fit. Again, that's what she said. Yeah, I could probably fit a loaf on the back. But as I already knew this was a fairly slow mission, I just wanted to actually see how this thing would do on its own with just a 2-slot trailer. And well, yeah, certainly better than the Taiga, I'll give it that. See, now I like this. I'm fine with though, because I am going pretty deep for the third time. That's what she said. But yeah, this like isn't too bad. It's the same actually on that P16 video I did, not yesterday, the day before. when I got to the after the main road section and cutting across the sort of rough bit near to the fuel station, I actually dropped it down into the low ranges then, when I could have just left it in high or auto and kind of ploughed across there pretty easily. But I was sort of saying it before, where this game, with how much it slows you down, I tend to after a while build up a little bit of an impatient vibe, and then by the time I actually get to a section that's like road or a light dirt road, that's why I kind of put my foot down a bit and I enjoy the high range gears and all the rest of it, because then it kind of calms that feeling down. I feel a little bit like I'm catching up to where I want to be. Yeah, with mods, they mostly quick enough, feel more realistic on various other sections. So yeah, when you get to some bits where you could take the piss and absolutely just floor it flat out, it doesn't bother me as much than dropping it into one of the low ranges or whatever and trying to be a bit more realistic about it. Again, the cargo nearly went, but we're all good. And yeah, to be fair to this truck, I've driven this round. I was messing around with it the other week when I did a video playing around with some other stuff. I've tested it out on Black River and a few other maps, as well as the Proving Grounds. This mission isn't kind of showcasing it in its best light. Not only is it not really like the ideal trailer for it, but yeah, like I say, a lot of these sort of sections I'm on now, when I went past the Taiga, it's just such trollish mud that, like I said, I don't think necessarily power and grip is the main factor. The game just has a certain lack of speed that it wants you to go. And yeah, stuff with bigger tyre. The bigger the tyres, the better really in this kind of situation. I mean, again, this thing has only got something like 41-inch tyres, so if you think even the Dolphin, that's got 51-inch tyres. Yeah, got to this point, I was following the roads. As you can see with the map, I've not uncovered it all. I could go to the watchtowers, but I kind of want to see what the map looks like after I've kind of driven around here, there and everywhere and not got any of the watchtowers, just to see, I don't know really, how much of it just naturally uncovers. And yeah, as for yesterday's video, by the way, I had a headache again all night, and I was kind of sitting there, going to leave it till pretty late to make a video, and yeah, it just wasn't going anywhere, and at some point I just thought, you know what, I'd love to just jump in bed right now, so I did. And yeah, feeling a bit better today. So I just made myself a new route through the forest. That's got us, kind of. Oh yeah, at some point, the trailer tipped again and unpacked the cargo, but I left it unpacked for a little bit. Two reasons, like you'll see when you pack it, or conversely when it unpacks itself, all the weight goes out of it. I mean, it's the same when you lift like various cargo with cranes. They're all pretty easily liftable with cranes for the most part. But yeah, when you pack it, that's when it kind of kicks in each cargo's individual weight, and the concrete slabs being pretty heavy. Yeah, not only does it sink the trailer down to where like the trailer hitch, like the trailer now sits lower than the hitch on my truck, so it kind of encourages it even more to try and do a wheelie. On top of that, yeah, it's just there's more weight with the mud. This trailer, again, I've not turned the off-road trailer thing back on, so this is just the crappy normal stock version with like highway tyres on it or something. That's one nice thing about this as well. Fling a winch out, and yeah, the winch has got pretty crazy distance on it. It can be a bit of a pain in the arse if you're actually trying to select a specific winch point, because in pretty much every area it brings up like 4.8 million winch points. But when you're just in a situation like this where you can see something in front, you just need to fling a winch out and grab onto something in that general direction. Yeah, it's got a ridiculously good reach on it. Good power. To be honest, even when I was equipping it and unequipping it there, I don't think it was actually making a hell of a lot of difference. I'm kind of travelling at the speed it was hoovering the winch in anyway. So this was a bit random. I'd seen a video on YouTube earlier. It was just like saying massive animals. So I was like, yep, why not? It's that time. I've reached massive animals part of YouTube. And yeah, there was some pretty big animals on there, I'll give it that. But there was a moose on there. It was insane. I've never seen a moose as big as that one. I mean, I probably have seen a moose in real life. But yeah, in England we don't have mooses anyway, unless like probably at a zoo or something. Yeah, this moose was ridiculous. I don't know how tall it was, but it must have been like 10 foot tall at least. It looked like twice the height of this little 4x4. It was not like a massive 4x4 pickup thing, probably not like some American beast thing, but it was still a 4x4, and it was driving along next to it. And this thing, it was insane. I'll take a screenshot of it and I'll have to post it on the community section, because, yeah. I knew some of those mooses get pretty big, but god damn. I'd shit my pants if that thing walked out of the forest anywhere near me. Yeah, you can see now, even though this thing has got ridiculously good grip and all the rest of it, I think partly that the trailer's like an anchor for it, but yeah, because there's not a serious amount of weight to the truck itself, I think it's more just skimming along the top, like there's not enough actually punching it into the ground. One thing I probably should have done, you see, again, every time there's just a reason to bring a goddamn professional with you. But if I'd put the ATV bed on the back and squidged a loaf on there, that'd at least, yeah, weigh me down quite a bit, and again, the weighted front bumper would probably assist the situation a little bit. So, oh no, don't do it. That's about as close as I can get without fully tipping. Yeah, for some reason, since the last update, the game has some obsession with prioritising shrubs over trees. I don't know why. I mean, if you said to someone, can you attach this winch to something, and they said, what, you're not going to go, oh, you see that shrub right next to the giant fucking tree? Yeah, attach it to that little half-inch shrub that'll pop out of the ground the second we apply any winch goodness. And again, 4.8 million winch points later.
Oh, Billy.
God damn it, Billy. So yeah, the game was being like that. That's how it is. Unfortunately, it wasn't too bad to tip back to its wheels. I've had a few times where it was a little bit iffy to get back. Again, these wider tyres don't really help. If you have tyres that sit more flush with the actual frame of the truck, it's a lot easier. But yeah, by now, I detached the trailer just because I thought, as I try and winch over, it's going to jiggle that concrete out. The only chance I've really got is trying to do this, otherwise I'm going to go and bring a crane. Unfortunately, to like pimp slap it or something, I don't really know what happened there, but give it a swift old slap and it was back in. Definitely what she said. Well, yeah, it worked pretty well. I mean, it deleted my suspension, but joke's on you, game, because I quite like it when this thing is lowered. Now, it's way less tippable, and it wasn't exactly tippable to begin with. So you'll see now quite a lot though where, yeah, this thing overall could, I reckon, could do with a little bit more weight to it. But all that being said, the vast majority of the time I just wouldn't be running this thing with a trailer. I mean, it's kind of just a fun truck to go flying around in, but yeah, scouting missions or where you just got to actually go to a destination, or, you know, those type of missions where you got like checkpoints all through a forest or something. This thing would be pretty perfect for that, but yeah, there's certainly other things I would put higher up the list if normally I want to go towing trailers. Like I said, I did use the M181 Super Bruce before this, but yeah, by the time it had blue screened me, I did fancy something a little bit quicker. It's funny as well, actually. I believe they've added a hard mode recently. I don't know if it's actually in the game yet or if it's in just the test server, and they'll kind of let us all have it when that finally updates. But yeah, I think the basic sort of things from what I've heard, you can't change day or night. I believe it might cost you to recover stuff. You don't make as much money back either when you buy a trailer or if you buy upgrades and sell them back and stuff. To be honest, if they had it originally in the game when I first got it, I probably would have attempted it and stuck to it and all the rest of it. By now, I don't really know if there's that much point for me personally, because I've already glitched money in that, so if it's going to charge me some arbitrary little amount or deduct a bit every time I buy and sell back a mod, that's not really going to stop me or do anything. And if and when I do run out of money, to be honest, I'll most likely just glitch some more money anyway. So that side of it isn't really going to make any difference to me. Not being able to change it to day or night, theoretically, don't mind that. However, we need to calm down on the fog. The amount of fog on this game since the last update is just insane. I'm waiting for the mod called No Fog. I've seen it. It must have been on the thumbnail or something, because I remember seeing it exist, but I might have seen it on the mod.io page actually when I was originally trying to sign up for all that. Yeah. Again, like now, this sort of day, pretty nice and clear. Even at night, I don't really mind driving, but recently, when there's a fog on top of that, it just, I don't know. I quite like it when the maps are pretty bright and everything. At the same time, certain other weathers are fine, but yeah, the fog, it's like they're trying to just squeeze it in all over the place. Everywhere, every map you go to, it's foggy. And then even a lot of the times when I switch the weather, kind of do a lap of the days, go back to 1 o'clock or whatever, it kind of isn't foggy for a little bit, and then it slowly starts creeping back in, probably like it is a little bit now. I'd probably recently changed it today, and as you can see, it's, yeah, very quickly the fog comes settling back in. Give it another minute or two and it's just foggy again. However, we finally made it. Well, now I think I'll drop it into low range. Like, just don't roll it now. That really would drive me mad. So again though, it's not absolutely ripping through the mud like it's just completely broken mode, God mode or whatever. It's and yeah, I don't really find that, especially I was in high-low, like, that was about nice. I think that's, like, reasonable. Especially if it's got a, yeah, 6-wheeled thing, double tyres as well. So that's it, job done. Again, doesn't really pay a lot. But it's another one ticked off the list. It was just an excuse to go cruising around with this thing, really. And that's it. Driving along, minding your own business, suddenly you get a text saying she wants to try anal, and you're like, what? God damn it. Now I've crashed. Can't release that kind of information when I'm driving around a corner. What kind of animal does that? Fortunately though. OP winches. Got a trunk in my fender. Hoping to go and stick a trunk in her fender, but it wasn't to be. Yeah, anyway, that's about it for today though. Like, I'll be back to normal. I just, yeah, had a bit of a headache, so I skipped today. That's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.